I live in the DC area, so I do like taking the metro maybe on the weekends and going into DC and either like going to an event or maybe going to a museum or walking around the mall sometimes. I mean, I would say moving to DC really has. I went to University of South Carolina for undergrad, and I ultimately moved to DC to go to the George Washington Law School, and it really has kind of put me where I am today. I met my friends, my fiance here in the DC area. I work with the Spiggle Law Firm, so I mean it's my moving here, and especially moving into the Arlington area, which I really like. That's been a big positive development for my life. Hi, my name is Mike Ludwig, and I'm an attorney with the Spiggle Law Firm. I focus on both general litigation with the firm and federal sector cases. So that involves both employees within the private sector and also employees of the federal government who might be dealing with discriminatory or retaliatory actions. I wanted to become an attorney because I thought it would be the best way for me to be able to help people and to be able to make a difference. I went to law school knowing that I would be able to hopefully work for a great firm and be able to assist people as I can within the legal field, because I know it can be complicated, it can be kind of daunting for people who are not in the legal field. So I wanted to be able to help people, and I knew that being an attorney would be a way to be able to use what I learned in law school to be able to do that. I originally got into employment law via my first internship with the federal government after my first year of law school. I interned with the Transportation Securities Administration, the TSA, within their internal employment division, which helped look at employees within the TSA who were facing discriminatory or retaliatory issues. And I continued with employment law because it really was a legal aspect that made sense to me. Employment law, unlike some other legal fields, is a lot about burden shifting. So that basically means that an employer will state its position, and then an employee will state its position, and then an employer will respond to that. So it's a lot of back and forth when arguing before a judge or an administrative entity. And I like the flow of that because it's really easy to understand, at least for me, and it makes sense about, I know what I have to show or what I have to prove or what I have to rebut when representing an employee in an employment discrimination or retaliation matter. My favorite part about employment law is just kind of the diversity of what I can deal with, because employment law is a large umbrella, and I work both in the federal sector, which is federal government employees, as well as in general litigation cases, which are private sector employees. So I like the fact that it's a diverse set of facts, and I can deal with many different employees and different type of employers. That can be large corporations, they can be smaller, like state or federal government entities. And I like the fact that even though it's all diverse, it comes back to a very set way of proving a legal case for an employment law case. So while it is a diverse set of facts, the actual law is well established and really easy to follow. So I like the fact that while I might be working with a lot of different types of employees, what I'm trying to prove and the steps of how to prove a case are all very similar, so it can bring it all back to center. I really like the sense of community that Spiggle Law Firm has. We have attorneys who have been practicing law for several decades. We have attorneys who have been practicing law for 5 years or less. So we have different levels of experience, but everybody kind of has the same sense of community. So it means that if a certain individual is working on a case and they might not have an experience with that very specific set of facts, or might not have experience with working with a certain administrative judge or a certain administrative body, there's a good chance that someone else in the firm does. And that can sometimes be an attorney who's been working for several decades, but they still might not have a certain experience with a certain type of law or a certain type of administrative body, whereas an attorney with less experience might actually have experience with that administrative body. So there's a lot of community and camaraderie within the Spiggle Law Firm. I feel good that I can tell clients that if there's a question or a situation I'm not 100% familiar about or confident about what the full ins and outs of that scenario, I can then discuss with my legal team, and I know someone will. So it's a great outlet to have, that I can tell a client that, I know how we can approach this situation, but let me talk to my colleagues and see if they have a way in which might be a way to think about that we weren't really looking at. And so I can always kind of go to my colleagues and ask for advice or ask for history or past experiences that can really help me advocate for clients that I currently have.